While the year is coming to a close and Sephiroth has come to bring despair, the thought of the next DLC fight for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate continues, and this time, me, Phantom Z2, is hosting an all-content in Smash. Although Sephiroth is a fantastic addition to the roster, feeling like the best character to play throughout both fighter passes so far, the burning passion to represent more new franchises and introduce players to new and different series still grows strong. It's time to bring another 2D fighter into the Smash Bros. Melting pot, and that fighter is Sol Badguy from Arc System Works Guilty Gear. Starting on the original PlayStation in 1998, the Guilty Gear series has evolved across several titles and is ready to deliver more fast-paced and hardcore gameplay in its upcoming title, Guilty Gear Strive, on PlayStation 4 and 5. While the series has seen minimal releases on Nintendo platforms, the 25th anniversary of the series was celebrated exclusively on Nintendo Switch platforms, with the Guilty Gear 25th Anniversary Pack, including the first title in the series re-released for the first time, and the peak of the series when it was still delivered in full 2D presentation, Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R. However, Sol's presentation in Smash Bros. Will take from the PlayStation 3 and 4 titles Guilty Gear XR. Although the buff stature is common with the other fighting game characters that are introduced in Smash Bros., Sol won't just be knocking you around with his fist, he'll be using his sword, the Junkyard Dog, and his weight and walking run speed would be that of a heavy character, similar to Ken and Ryu. Now let's get into Sol Badguy's moveset. Because he's from a fighting game, it will be easy to provide a reference to his attacks. In addition, I'll also be referring to some fighting game terms. Normally in an all content we just go over the special moves, however, due to having reference to Guilty Gear XR, I will showcase also his normal attacks. Sol Badguy's neutral attack will be a 4-hit combo following the Gatling combination of Guilty Gear, Punch, Kick, Slash, and Heavy Slash. Although GG is a 5-button fighter, those 4 buttons are the escalation of GG's attacks. This is a staple of the Guilty Gear series, but his dash attack is slightly unique as it was only featured in the first title, a horizontal leaping flame kick, which was his dash K. His side tilts would be forward slash, which is literally a forward slash. His up tilt would be his crouching heavy slash, an uppercut with his sword that starts from a crouch. His down tilt would be his crouching K, a crouching kick to the shins. Next are his smash attacks. For his side smash, we have Sol's forward heavy slash, last seen in Guilty Gear Xrd Sign, the first title in the Xrd line of games. For Sol's down smash, Sol will perform his crouching dust, which is the 5th and final attack button in Guilty Gear that can't chain into the Gatling combination. This move is a sweeping kick and not just a normal kick like Sol's down tilt. In the Guilty Gear series, the dust attack is more than just another attack, but a launcher. Upon landing the attack, the player can launch the opponent forward or upwards to lead with a chain of attacks. Sol's up smash will be his dust that will launch the opponent upwards and allow Sol to cancel the attack early within his animation with a jump. Now that we showed a way to launch our opponent, let's get into the aerial attacks. For his neutral air, we have his JK, which is a sex kick similar to half of the roster's neutral air. His forward aerial would be his JS, or jump slash. Next is his back air, would be his JD, his jumping dust. However, due to the particular posture and momentum of the animation, Sol's back air would work similarly to Marth and Roy's, causing him to turn around afterwards. For his down air, Sol will perform his jump heavy slash, which should have the ability to meteor in its early frames. Strangely, there isn't really a move that Sol can use for his up air, so one would have to be made for him. I was thinking of having it be similar to his jumping slash, but he instead swipes his sword upward, kinda like Sephiroth's up air. Now for the big guns, his specials. For his neutral special, we have Gun Flame, a grounded forward moving 4-flame pillar. This move can also be performed with quarter circle forward and the punch button in Guilty Gear. However, this would just be quarter circle forward B. However, this move cannot be used in the air in his normal games, so instead we'll be taking from Guilty Gear XX. Pressing neutral B in the air will activate Sideliner. This move only attacks horizontally and not really vertically. For his forward and backward special, Sol will perform Bandit Revolver on standard press and Bandit Bringer on a held input. However, Bandit Bringer isn't available to use while in the air, so Bandit Revolver will be the only version of the move used in the air. For Sol's down special, there will also be 2 variants when used on the ground and in the air. On the ground, down special takes the form of Fafnir, a strong flaming knock to the head based upon which direction Sol is faced. In the air, it takes the form of Break, a flaming dive kick that has some eruption on the ground. Be careful not to get hit by it, as it would cause a meteor effect as well. Finally, for Sol's up special, we have Volcanic Viper, a flaming uppercut that soars to the sky. Lastly, we have Sol's final smash, Branding Breach. Pretty cool, huh? Although I'm not sure how it would work in the air, when this move is used on the ground, Soul will strike forward with a punch to his opponent's head, similar to Fafnir. Finally, let's move on to another of Soul's special mechanics, Dragon Install. In Guilty Gear, this ability is able to be triggered if Soul has enough meter to do so. However, in Smash Bros, it will be triggered when Soul is at 120%. Normally, Dragon Install has a countdown, but in Smash, it will wear out after he takes out a character's stock. Also, here are Soul's skins. There really isn't much I can say about any of them except for his first and last skin. His first skin is based off of his rival and counterpart character, Kai Kisuke. His final skin, Revelator, is based off of Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator's box art. For further reference, here is how the skins actually look like in Guilty Gear Xrd. When it comes to picking a stage, it's a bit difficult considering that the most iconic stages don't have many other elements attached to them, especially with it being a fighting game. However, with Guilty Gear Strive adding the new wallbreak mechanic into its gameplay, the only interesting option for a stage may be one that is similar to Terry's King of Fighters Stadium. But I'm not basing Soul off of Strive, only on Xrd and prior, so for the actual stage it should be Paris, Soul and Kai's iconic battleground from the Guilty Gear games prior to Xrd. As for the music accompanying the stage, here are the tracks that I believe would best fit in Smash and serve as a way to pull from different titles in the Guilty Gear franchise. With Guilty Gear already being a fighting game, a lot of the rocking tracks would already fit the setting of a battle. First off, it should be a remix of Keep Yourself Alive 2 from Guilty Gear XX. This is the second iteration of Soul Bad Guy's theme, as the first iteration, of course, originates from the first Guilty Gear title. Second, we have a remix of Holy Order's Be Just or Be Dead, also from Guilty Gear XX. This is Kai Kisuke's theme. Third would be a remix of The Recoming from Guilty Gear 2 Overture. In Guilty Gear 2 Overture, this is the song that plays when Soul and Kai would be facing off against one another. To be a little bit more personal, the reason why I chose The Recoming over Noontide or No Mercy is because I like this song the most out of all their rival themes. Fourth, we have Blue Water Blue Sky, which is Mei's theme from Guilty Gear X2. Fifth is Sucker Sage, Chip Zanoff's theme from Guilty Gear X2. Sixth is Still in the Dark, which is also from Guilty Gear X2. Instead of serving as a theme for one character, this is instead a theme that serves for two characters, Milia Rage and Zato 1, when they face off against one another. Now we're going to mix it up a little by taking from Guilty Gear Xrd with Faust's theme, Destructive Goodwill. Eighth would give Axl Low some love, as remixing his theme March of the Wicked King from the first Guilty Gear title. The ninth track should also be a remix, featuring Potemkin's theme Burly Heart from Guilty Gear X. The 10th and second to last track should be Break a Spell from Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2. Finally, we have an instrumental version of Guilty Gear Strive's theme, Smell of the Game. The reason why this song would have to be an instrumental is because it does feature a curse.
heart is lazy. If the world's made you, I don't need a new world order. You soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game.
Titled after Guilty Gear X2's character select theme, Soul Bad Guy's classic mode will revolve around him facing off characters that share some traits with those of Guilty Gear characters. For Stage 1, we have Chip Zanoff being portrayed by Greninja on Suzaku Castle. During this battle, Sucker Sage will play as it is Chip's theme. For Stage 2, we have Mei portrayed by Inkling on the pirate ship stage, with Mei's theme Blue Water Blue Sky playing. Although the Inklings don't fight with an anchor like Mei does, they are the closest character in terms of color and in theming. On Stage 3, we'll be representing Potemkin with Bowser. In the original Guilty Gear's arcade mode, Potemkin's fight takes place on Zep, which is essentially used as an industrial base or factory. Thus, the battle should take place on Shadow Moses Island with Burly Heart playing. Stage 4 will move away from the main games and act as a reference to Guilty Gear Iska. In that game, there are instances where the game instead plays as a beat-em-up and 4-player battle royale, thus having a multi-man smash on Delfino Plaza, representing the B stage in Iska. Since these Miis are just representing some lowly grunts, we'll give Soul the chance to rock out to his own theme, Keep Yourself Alive too. Stage 5 was very difficult to decide on as there aren't many fighters left that share traits with Guilty Gear's cast. However, Milia Rage and Bayonetta both fight using their hair. Unfortunately, there isn't really a stage that represents Russia too well, so maybe they could fight on Peach's castle. There is a body of water at the bottom of the stage and a grassy area in the background, so they share some design aspects. For our second to last fight, Soul Bad Guy will face off against Shulk in order to represent Kai Kisuke. Although the fight will take place on Paris, the song accompanying the battle will be Soul vs Kai's theme from Guilty Gear 2 Overture, The Recoming. Finally, the boss battle will simply be against Master Hand and Crazy Hand. In a weird way, it does fit as that man has had hand and wings motifs in his different designs. Considering that I don't play with spirits very often, figuring out how this stuff works was pretty confusing. Thankfully, I had a Shadow and Nanton to help me figure it out. In total, I've selected 9 different spirits that can be collected via the spirit board, 6 primary and 3 as support. Some of the characters appearing as spirits are already represented within Soul's classic mode, so those fights will repeat with some added effects. Their spirits and their fights are as follows. Kai Kisuke, A-star primary spirit, neutral type. His traits would be electric attack up, and his spirit battle conditions will be Shulk on Paris with the music Holy Orders playing. For this battle, certain items will appear in large numbers, and that item would be the lightning bolt from Mario Kart. Next is Mei, an advanced star primary spirit who is also neutral. Her traits would be water attack up, the increase of water damage. And for her spirit battle would be the Inkling once again on pirate ship with Mei's theme Blue Water Blue Sky. For this battle, only certain Pokemon will emerge from Pokeballs, and if possible it should be water type Pokemon only. Next up is Potemkin, an advanced star primary spirit who is a grab type. His traits would feature a strong throw, and his spirit battle conditions would be Bowser on Shadow Moses Island with the music Burly Heart playing. The enemy would favor grabs and throws. Milia Rage, an A-star primary spirit attack type. Her traits would be increased speed, and her battle conditions, for the spirit battle, would be Bayonetta on Peach's castle with the music Still in the Dark playing. In the original Guilty Gear, Milia Rage is a deadly force to be reckoned with. Thus, this will be a stamina battle where Bayonetta will be suddenly given boost of speed and acceleration. Next is Zato 1, an A-star primary spirit defense type, with the trait of his weight being increased. The battle conditions would be Ken with Ridley on Dracula's castle, with the music Still in the Dark also playing. In Guilty Gear, Zato 1 is a character that fights with a deadly shadow known as Eddie that often takes the shape of a gargoyle. Thus, Ken and Ridley would be your opponents, as Ken is blonde like Zato is. However, due to Zato and Eddie residing in the same body, your goal for this battle is just to defeat the main fighter, which is Ken. However, he will shield very often. Our final primary spirit would be Order Soul, a Legend Star primary spirit attack type. His traits would be boosted fire attack, and his battle conditions would be Soul Bad Guy on Paris with the song Keep Yourself Alive 2 playing. Introduced in Guilty Gear XX/, Order Soul represents the time period when Soul Bad Guy still served in the Sacred Order of Holy Knights. Having a gross amount of power, this would serve as a primary legend spirit attached to Soul Bad Guy on Paris. In this battle, the enemy's melee weapons have increased power, he favors neutral specials, and he would have super armor and be hard to launch or make flinch. Now moving over to our 3 support type spirits, first off we have Axel Low, a Novice Star support spirit. His traits would be weapon attack up, and his battle condition would be Richter on Bridge of Eldin with the music March of the Wicked King. This battle would be a timed battle, as Axel Low is in fact a time traveler, in a weird way. Next we have Chip Zanoff, a Novice Star support spirit, with the trait of Lightweight. For his spirit battle we have Greninja on Suzaku Castle with the music Suck a Sage. This would be a stamina battle where the enemy has increased move speed, increased jump power, but the enemy is easy to launch. The reason why he would be easy to launch is because in Guilty Gear he is known as the character with the lowest amount of health. Finally we have Faust, an Advanced Star support spirit. His traits would allow the player to have a Mr. Saturn equipped, and his battle conditions would be Ike on New Donk City with the music Destructive Goodwill playing. In this battle there will be an item tidal wave, and the enemy will be easily distracted by items while items are also being attracted to the enemy. If the player has purchased a second fighter pass, the battle will instead be against Sephiroth instead of Ike. While I would move on to Mii fighters, there aren't many options that I can think of that would fit or be allowed to make it into Smash. Kai's Kisuke as a sword fighter is very obvious, however I think it's possible to also take time to represent a different Arc Sys franchise with the Mii fighters, Ragnar the Blood Edge and Jin Kisaragi as sword fighter Mii costumes. Although they're not Guilty Gear content, it might be best to give some love to Arc Sys' other big fighting title, but I have to have something than none at all. And that does it for this episode of All Content in Smash. I assume that most people that watch this channel probably aren't familiar with Guilty Gear, so stay tuned to the channel as there will be more Guilty Gear content approaching the channel. If you liked the video, hit that like button and also share in the comments what you would like to see from the Guilty Gear franchise if it were to make it into Smash Bros. A special thank you to all our patrons on screen right now, and if you would like to support us and get all the benefits including an exclusive Discord channel, exclusive Source Gaming assets, early access to content, and the ability to suggest content for us to cover, then follow the link below. And with that, always remember to return to the source.
Here comes Daredevil!